Good morning. This is Gregg, the window doctor with Dallas Energy Efficient Products. Well, I hope that you've enjoyed some of the other videos that we've had recently about the company, sometimes the product, installation. One of the things I want to talk today about is pricing. Because when the bottom line gets here, it's still got to fit the budget, doesn't it? And if I ask you a question like, well, how much does a new Ford cost? Chances are most of you'd have a pretty good working knowledge of that. Why? Because you've bought cars before. But how many of you buy windows, replacement windows on a regular basis? Any hands out there? I didn't think so. Most of us haven't done that. So we really don't know what a fair and consistent price is. Well, let me just give you some little bit of background on that. First of all, windows that you see advertised in the paper, sometimes you'll see a company that advertises for $189. Now, let me ask you a serious question. Do you really think it's just going to be $189 a window? I know for me, my mama taught me to read that small print. And you really need to do that because there's always going to be extra charges, like tear-out charges. Or it's a low-grade window, doesn't have the low emissivity and argon factor enough to pass the Texas requirements. It doesn't certainly have the higher low E3 class system in it. So there's a lot of things that have to be added once they're there. Kind of that bait and switch type thing. You know what I'm talking about. So that Windows ends up being a lot more than what you thought it was going to be. Personally, if I'm like you, I like to get what I'm told I'm going to get. So let's look at reality. I think what you'll find is that today you'll find replacement windows that run from anywhere from around $300 to maybe $1,100 or $1,200 a piece. Is that right? Absolutely. I won't mention the name of the companies, but there's definitely companies out there on the market today that have windows that will run $1,000 to $1,200 per opening. Now for me, that would be a huge investment, especially in the houses today that have 20, 30 windows. Woo, you just about have to take a second mortgage out, wouldn't you? But let's understand some things, why the price could vary so much. Let me ask you a question. If you went to an intersection and took a left turn and ended up down to a Kia or a Hyundai dealership, and I were to ask you, how much is a brand new car? And if you told me $10,000, $11,000, $12,000, would you be right? Well, of course you would. Because that's about what those new cars cost down there at that particular dealership. Now, had you gone straight and ended up down at the Chevrolet dealership, the Ford dealership, the Chrysler dealership, and I were to ask you how much does that brand new car cost now, well, you'd probably say $20,000, $25,000 a piece. Would you be right? Yeah. But what if you had taken a right and gone down to the BMW or Mercedes dealer or Jaguar? Any of those, and you'd say, what's a new car cost? And you'd probably say $80,000. And you would also be right. So how does that relate? All the cars that are high-end cars, all are very close in price because they have similar additions and added features that drive up the cost on those particular cars. And it's the same way with a Chevy and a Ford as opposed to a Kia and a Hyundai. And this is not a negative comment about any particular car manufacturer. But the truth is, quality does cost more. So if you're looking at putting something into your most expensive investment, your highest investment you'll probably have in your lifetime, which is what? That's right, your windows, then, your house, then guess what? Would you want to put the cheapest possible product into your house that potentially could bring that value down? Or would you look for something that maybe is in the middle that would help to drive the price of your house up? Come on, you already know that answer. So necessarily buying the cheapest in this particular scenario may not be the best. Think about that when you get ready to buy your new windows. This is Gregg, the window doctor, signing off.